guys? What's up,
Hello,
guys?
hello.
What's up, guys? Oh, yeah, by the way, we're a Revival Horror Podcast. This is Creepy Connie.
And this is King Jeremy the Wicked.
Wildest stuff has happened
Okay.
since just the release of the last episode, which, because of school starting back, because of the anime convention, because of Pride, because we were so busy, you were busy moving, you were busy with school.
You had stuff to do with Lotus.
We had a lot of things going on, and the beauty of that is we did release episode 5. It got the most exposure. We got messages. People have emailed.
Oh, that's awesome.
And we got our first gift. It's pretty awesome.
Okay, can I see it?
Yeah,
I
it's
really
anonymous.
wanna see-
It's anonymous, but I
Okay.
have a feeling because what I did was I placed my home quarters on maps, Google Maps, as Revival a Horror Podcast, and over 400, I want to say 444 people the last time I looked, and that was like 2 weeks ago.
Ooh.
The place that I reside is on Google Maps, and everyone has our address. And I Googled a couple things, and they're like, never give your address, let alone do a P.O. box.
Yeah,
but
do
I
a
wasn't
P.O. box.
expecting, it says Revival Horror Podcast Studio, just because, when it comes up, people can see it, and they're like, oh, I'm curious, let me Google that. And I think that's kind of helped, because beg, borrow, and steal, every little inch helps.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I get this really cool package. It's like an Amazon package, but instead of the smiley face or whatever that is.
That little smiley arrow.
On Amazon, it's the A to the Z, and on Amazon Prime, it's the I to the D. So it's like I to the DA. So I'm sure when Bezos was young, he's like, I'm going to show all of you. I'm going to have a multi-billion-dollar corporation. And I'm going to put a little weenie on it.
A little weenie.
So yes, we got our first gift.
I want to hold it.
It is a first edition 1971 William Peter Blatty, The Exorcist.
It is amazing.
It's worn. It's torn like an old Bible, and it's so gorgeous.
But I love old worn books like this.
I love it. I always take the dust cover off of books just because I like the feel of that bound, the
I like how it just says for Beth.
And feel how thick the pages are.
Yeah, this is
It's crazy.
well-made book. That's another reason why I like old books.
I love books. I love collecting things.
Look at all the wear and tear on all the pages.
The unevenness of the binding. I mean,
gosh.
So
the stains.
I've never read this book. I'm an avid reader.
Mm-hmm.
I love anything and everything within fantasy, within horror, of course. And I always have 3 or 4 books going. It's so cool, right?
It is
so
cool. I love it. Thank you to whoever sent this to us.
I wanted to bring it in, but I know, I didn't want to bring it in. So, but I was like, no, we got to do this for the podcast.
We can't bring that into
work. We got
work.
to do this for the pod.
Yes, for the
cast. The cool guys say pod.
For the pod.
Would you like to know more about pods? And it's like, Tide Pods?
I tried that back in 2016. I'm good.
That's how COVID started. Well, welcome, guys. Yes, so we got our first gift. It said anonymous.
Yes.
The packaging.
Thank you to Anonymous.
It said True Books, so I was like, and it wasn't in any it was just the book and the paper. So whoever Anonymous is, thank you.
Yes.
And they ordered it, so they never even saw it. So it's like they ordered it through a company, and it was shipped to the Addy.
To let them know, it is beautiful, and we love it.
It's gorgeous. I may have said in one of the pods, one of the casts, one of the PCs, KK,
one of the
CJ,
ghostesses
that I do collect first editions. Mm-hmm. So I went out and purchased,
which is such a cool thing to collect, by the way.
I purchased the second one. Is that Legend or Legion?
Legion?
Legion.
Legion.
How's Legend?
Legend.
Legion. So I went out and purchased the second. It's basically Exorcist 2, and it's a 1983, and it's first edition too.
That's so cool.
So I was like, if I got that one, I've got to get the other one.
You got to have the set.
You to me. You were first.
I was?
Yeah. So CC before KJ.
Well, that makes sense.
That's
Alphabetically.
Cool. Or maybe just said to you.
Yeah, maybe that's actually mine.
Maybe you're Beth.
Oh, my middle name is Elizabeth.
What? Holy smokes.
So it could be for me.
I thought. Wait, what's Bella? That's
Bella.
the nickname.
So Bella is my nickname because I come from an Italian family.
Ooh, Italian man.
And my grandma's named Constance as well.
That's right.
And so when I was a baby, they called me Bella, my little
nice.
Bella, because Bella means beautiful. And so my mom was just like, my little Bella.
And you were born the year Twilight came out.
Was I?
No,
2003?
not. I hope not.
Was Twilight?
Maybe
Twilight
the
didn't
book. Maybe the book. Hopefully.
I don't know.
Oh God, that would be wild. That'd be weird.
Yeah, but I
weird.
have been called Twilight many times
okay.
because of
that.
yeah.
Twilight.
I have mixed feelings about that.
A lot of the questions were really cool. A lot of them were just comments, but the one of the crazy questions that we got was, they wanted to hear more about the ghost haunts. So we have to get into that. Now, the coolest part is, I don't know if I fall backwards or spring forward. I know they're trying to get rid of that, but in less than I think it's 62 days till Halloween, and right after that, time changes. So it'll be dark at 5:30, so we can go ghost hunting.
Yeah, we can go ghost hunting at 6 o'clock.
Right when Lotus gets out of ski. So yeah,
we go pick up Lotus from school, go straight to a ghost hunt.
Go straight to the trailer park.
No,
say that.
Straight to the graveyard.
We did the grave. Well, we can do a cemetery. We'll definitely do a cemetery.
Yeah, we got to think of something.
We
got to think of something.
I've got a few cool places, and I'm definitely going to talk about that.
Well, I'm in a class right now. I study architecture, and right now I'm studying historic house museums.
Ooh.
And so, all of these old, colonial houses that you get to go visit. And so, all over the world, that's what I'm studying. But, I know a few here. Okay. Maybe we can see if there's some haunted stuff going on.
Yeah. I know
Maybe.
that there's been a few that I've visited that we got readings, and I'm going to talk about one in Creepy Connie's Corner. But the one place that we've done recently, which is how all of this came about, because we went to a house and the basement was haunted, and we got some really cool readings. And then when the chatter started to come about, everyone's like, "Oh, you want to do this? You want to do that?" And then we started talking when we first met about everything haunting, everything macabre, and
we bonded over the horror,
over the scary. And it's super cool because that's how this came about, because I've always wanted to do a pod.
Yeah, this really happened organically.
It did. We didn't meet online, or I didn't.
Yeah, it was really just by chance.
It's crazy. And I talk about that. Behind the chair. I'm like, everything happens for a reason. You know, this, that, and this. And I believe in fate. I believe in karma, and I believe that this wouldn't happen if it wasn't for fried chicken.
Yeah, if it wasn't for fried chicken, we would not be here.
Champagne tenders.
Ooh, I love a champagne tender.
So this is the wildest thing. All right, so the app, shout out Buzzsprout, basically breaks everything down. So 56% of the listeners listen on Spotify. 52% are on an iPhone, 86% listen through their mobile
When
phone.
I listen to it on Apple.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So Spotify is number one, Apple, then Amazon Echo, iHeartRadio, Chatbot, Facebook, Amazon Music, Audible, web browser, Instagram, mobile, Listen Notes, unknown Android apps, which seems very suspicious. The devices are iPhones, Android phones, Amazon Smart Speaker, Windows Computer, Apple iPad, Apple Computer, and an unknown device.
I love the idea of someone listening to us on their Amazon Alexa.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's
it's just going throughout their house and it's just me snorting.
Oh, well, one guy he emailed this. He said,
"Oh no."
Same Sage. He emailed and he said, "I was getting out of the shower, and all of a sudden in the first episode, you're like, what was that?" And then Creepy Connie was like, "What was that?" And we're like, "What was that?" And something happened to the TV, and he was getting out of the shower, and he said out loud, "What was that?" I thought that was great.
I love that.
What's up, Sage? And the other question, which I've gotten several times through I think it was a Spotify message, through email twice, and the other ones have been verbal, like people just
straight up just asking
random,
you.
Yes. And the question is, why revival? How did you come up with revival?
Yeah.
And so I've always loved the circus. I've always loved the carnival. I've always loved the periods of hair and fashion. So my favorite is when in the 30s and 40s, it didn't matter if you were New York City or Utah, Salt Lake City, Utah, you had the coolest mustache.
Oh,
And
you had to.
You had to. Even
was
women.
all
Even,
about-
I'm talking about women. Women's.
They all had the stash.
And the fashion was incredible.
So why revival?
So being obsessed with the 30s, being obsessed with the 40s, the music, the hair, the fashion, just everything about it. If you lived in, like I said, New York City, when the carnival came through, you were about it. When the circus came through, you were about it. It didn't matter how old, how young, how much money you had, how little money you had.
It was a big part of American culture,
too. Huge.
Yeah.
It's the only time to escape, especially most women had 15 kids, and if they survived diphtheria, the carnival's coming to town.
The carnival's coming to town. At least there's that.
The carnival's coming to town regardless of little Timmy. So when the carnival came to town, people lost their shit.
Yeah.
So Ma was destined to bake the perfect apple pie to bring to the carnival, and whoever had the best apple pie won a bouquet of roses. So a bouquet of roses in Salt Lake City didn't exist. I don't believe, unless the carnival came to town.
Okay.
So the kids were just beyond themselves because 15 kids, that's ages 2 to 8, 2 to 16. And most kids, boys, once they graduated 4th or 5th grade, they were done with school. They had to work in the garden, work in the farm.
Yeah.
And
Put 'em to
Pa
work.
had the working farm. So half the kids were in school, half the kids were working. So what better way to celebrate life is to escape. That's why I love to read. That's why we love movies. That's why we love the horror and the horror and the macabre.
Social media,
our phones. So the carnival comes to town. Dad has been saving his pennies, what they call bits. So Paul has about 18 bits. He takes 7 of them to the carnival to see what? Boobies. He wants to see the bearded lady's boobies. So that's one bit. With one bit, you get to see the bearded lady, the burlesque show, and you get to see boobies. Yeah, it's just that's how it was. That's how it was. So Ma gets to win the roses, the boys and girls get to ride the rides, and
Dad gets to see some boobies.
So with the shot of whiskey added to that, and he's seen the show 8 times, he wanders back to the farm to get more bits. So what happens the next morning? Kids are exhausted. Ma didn't win. I was thinking Ma would win, but you got to make this is the Dust Bowl.
Okay.
Ma didn't win. She's devastated. She got to see, she got to touch, she got to smell roses, but she didn't get to hold on to them. And Pa's in the doghouse. He's hungover. He's pissed. Ma's pissed. He's just like embarrassed.
He spent all of his money.
All of his money. And guess who comes to the rescue?
Who?
Give me that old time religion. Give me that old time religion. Give me that old. The revival. The church.
The revival.
The revival. So yes, coming to the rescue. Coming to the rescue. Reviving old film that means the world to us, like The Conjuring.
Yeah.
The Witch.
Yeah.
The Exorcist.
Oh, especially The Exorcist.
Goonies. Gremlins.
Oh.
Big Top Pee-wee.
Oh my God.
Revival. But yes.
Revival. I think revival also can play a lot into many different horror.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Because
I think it's a great name.
There is no conjuring in the Conjurings. See what I did there? Did you see what I did
They've
there?
already been conjured.
Did they conjure it?
It was conjured before The Conjuring.
Did they conjure anything though?
Not in the movie. I feel like we're
the
stoned.
gummies kicking in.
I feel like we're talking like they conjured for The Conjuring, and
they
Conjuring
conjured
didn't
that
conjure.
box office hit. Did you know that The Conjuring 2 was pulled from all of France? When you go to France for
Wait, what do you mean pulled from all?
Conjuring
of
2 was pulled from the theater. Yes, it was pulled from the theater from like 3 days into the release.
Why?
Because there were all of France, not just Paris, all of France. So there is a story From French cinemas, after disorder during screenings, various cinema chains are removing the horror sequel from their schedules after a series of altercations and fights involving cinema-goers. That's one word, cinema-goers. So, yes. So
this movie caused violence amongst the French.
Well, the first... was it the first one or the second one? The second one killed someone. Like, someone died in the...
Yes. I remember us talking about that.
Loud laughter, hysterical yelling, and violent altercations. La Parisienne reported the majority of 262 French cinemas initially planned to show the infield set Chiller was removed from their programs following disruptive conduct. That's wild, right?
That is weird. And only in France.
Yep. The Conjuring exceeded expectation, making $276 million worldwide. Yeah, that's The Conjuring 2. So, yeah. So, it's wild. So, they said the mayhem was also reported in Paranormal Activity and Sinister. So, that's crazy. So, the French...
Sinister. I liked the Sinister movie. Paranormal Activity. Ooh.
So, I think it's time to dive deep into the world of horror.
Let's do it. What do you have for us?
Guess what I'm going to see tonight?
What?
Afraid.
Ooh.
It releases tonight. Well, at least releases tomorrow, but I have...
You have like the
Regal Pass.
Ooh.
So back in the day, they used to release film like Star Wars, like Blair Witch, and all of these like big blockbusters.
Yeah.
They would do a Thursday night release before the Friday release, but it would be at midnight. Well, after some violence, like we were just talking about, they made it a 7 o'clock and a 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
So yes, so tonight we're going to see Afraid, and I'm excited because Lotus has only seen a few films out of 4D. Like we usually do the 4DX experience.
Yeah.
So this is in a smaller theater. So I like the intimacy of that. And we did Nope. That was her first kind of horror, and she loved it. And that was in 4D. So what's cool is in Nope. Have you seen Nope?
I don't think
Jordan
I have.
Peele. Oh, it's so good. So it basically takes place on a horse farm, and there's a moment in 4D. You know, your seat moves. It like the little thing tickles your ankles when there's bugs, and you get these little punches in the back. The camera pans, and it follows this note that someone left on one of their fences, their wooden fence, and it's about having this party to kind of bring the subject matter that the movie's about full frontal. And the note flies through the air because it gets loose from the nail, and it flies through the air, and you follow it. It's kind of whimsical, and then it lands in horse shit because we're on a horse farm, so there's horse shit everywhere. Yeah. And all of a sudden, you smell shit. And I looked at Ethan because Ethan was right beside Lotus. Lotus was in the middle. And I look at Ethan, I was like, dude, that was his first 4DX besides Disney and Universal. And I look at him, I'm like, dude, you smell that? It's crazy, right? And Lotus is like, no, that was me. I farted. I'm like, how do you fart? Right when it right
when it's supposed
maybe
to smell
she
like
just
shit.
kept farting. Like
she was just farting that whole movie.
That is a fart machine, Dad. I'm never spending the night at Bella's house again. Gosh, it smells like broccoli in this bitch. So we're going to see Afraid tonight. So we'll talk about that next week.
Oh, I can't wait.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. And the film I want to talk about is a film that is on Shudder. And it is called Humane. Do you know who David Cronenberg is? David
I'm not
Cronenberg.
Good with names,
Okay, David Cronenberg is the master of horror / sci-fi kind of. He did Crimes of the Future, which just came out not too long ago. He did Scanners, and he did a movie called Crash, which there was another movie called Crash that came out around the same time, but everyone talked about that movie. But this movie, Crash, basically, I want to say it's 2004. These people kind of got off on recreating famous people's car crashes. So they would recreate James Dean, and it was a sexual-driven type situation. So they would recreate these really cool, like the James Dean part was really cool, but he did that. His daughter, Caitlin Cronenberg, has created a film called Humane, and kind of skating, as we talked earlier prior to recording, about COVID. This modern post-apocalyptic tale, basically, the sun is a virus. It's wild, right?
Oh.
I mean, Cronenberg's, they're genius. They're genius. And the self-sacrifice enlistment is the true tale. So literally, your offspring get money if you sacrifice yourself for this kind of apocalyptic
world
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you say, I'm enlisting, they come, they kill you, and that basically opens up food, water, just
more
basically
resources
more
for
resources
other
for
people.
everyone else, especially your offspring. So a lot of people are doing this, and they're doing it without, sitting down and talking. They're basically like, hey, I've invited you here for this dinner, and I've enlisted. Your mom and I have enlisted. And you see the kids go ape shit. They're like, no. And it's like, well, you're going to get all this money. So now who wants $1 million when I can kill you, sister, and I get $2 million. So now it's just like greed, it's just greed. So
okay.
The wildest part is if dad denies it, mom and dad are like, nah, we're not going to do it. We enlisted when we were hammered or when we were, drinking or just after we watched a sad movie.
Yeah.
And we're not going to do it now. So now everybody dies. So it's pretty genius. It's pretty cool.
Wow.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Yeah, there's a book out by C.J. Tudor called The Gathering. Vampires are real. They coexist with humans.
Okay.
It's all about animal blood, not human blood.
Okay.
And the protagonist, Barbara, she works for the FVAD, the forensic, that's why I have my finger up, the Forensic Vampire Anthropology Department. There's lots of P's and T's.
Yeah, there's a lot going on there.
It takes place in Alaska, where a teenage boy is killed by a vampire, and the secrets that Barbara is about to unveil is beyond deadly.
Interesting.
Pretty interesting.
Yeah,
I love...
that sounds like... I don't know. It's usually, for me, it's hit or miss with vampire movies.
Nosferatu comes out.
Okay.
My guy, Robert Eggers.
Yeah.
He comes out with The Witch, The Lighthouse, The Northman. Like, all of his pictures are fantastic. And it's the experiences that I've had in theaters watching opening night for this movie. So I'm definitely... This is Christmas Day, I believe. Christmas Eve. Or just says Christmas. But it's going to be electric because Anna Taylor-Joy, Anna Joy Taylor, she was going to play, as she portrays all the female protagonists in his movies, she was going to play Ellen Hutter, and she was tied up with other pieces of work, so now it's Lily Rose Depp.
Oh, okay.
She's playing
the lead.
The female girl. The female girl.
The female girl.
The female girl. On all platforms, November 8th, it was leaked. Slitterhead. Lots of double T's and double P's.
Yeah,
there's lots of like tongue ties. There's a studio called Bouquet Studio. Leaked their release date in a trailer at the Summer Game Fest, and immediately it was pulled offline. So November 8th, this is coming out. With a smattering of Silent Hill alums, led by Keiichiro Toyama, this truly grotesque masterpiece of parasites taking over their host and controlling in a manner only belonging to the most brutal of Japanese horror films. The trailer looked amazing, as someone else posted it. Looks cool. And anything horror video game, I'll definitely...
Have you ever watched the anime Parasite?
I read the first, volume, and I want to say if I watched, I didn't dive deep. When Parasite came out, the Korean film, I thought it was tied to that, but it was not.
No,
and
they're
it
different.
got all the Oscars. But yeah, did you watch it?
I have watched the anime version
the
of
whole
it.
thing?
Yes, it was good.
So yes, on VR, Dread Halls, walking in a scarcely lit dungeon, you have to avoid the creatures that dwell, finding an exit. Sound familiar? No. Your only weapon is stealth, courage, and a faint light that you have to keep lit with oil. So basically, your whole visual is like a very, very light, a very, very dim lit lamp.
Okay.
So I'm already picturing that
Yeah.
stressfulness and
Dark is stressful no matter what.
dark is stressful no matter what. And being that your stealth and courage is the only weapon you have besides the lamp, when the light burns out, the darkness engulfs you, and that just sounds crazy. And I watched the trailer, and it scared the shit out of me. That's wild. That's wild, wild, wild. And I do believe that is the world of horror. What's happening in the world of horror. Horror movies. So, Conjuring 2, Episode 3.
Let's do it.
Let's go. Now at the Warrens, a reverend is playing back the tape recording of Janet's possession. As he stops the tape to ask, "What do you make of that voice?" Ed says, "He sounds confused. Is he senile?" Reverend says, "The voice of this tape is an 11-year-old girl." Ed and Lorraine hurriedly stare into each other's eyes. Wow. The body language shook me.
Yeah.
Shook me. As the Reverend explains, it's a media circus over there. The church is reluctant to get involved. Lorraine asks, "You're afraid it's a hoax?" Now, as they have talked about getting out of the business, they both, in the last few frames, have doubts. Senile old man, ha. Hoax, ha. So I'm starting to pick up, because a lot of the things that I've read and a lot of the podcasts that I've listened to that talk about this, that they were definitely revered as hoax. You know, everything that they did, they drove on that. So I'd never realized that watching this. So the Reverend says, you know, what I'll do is I'll fly you to London for 3 days. You both will be our unofficial eyes and ears. And Lorraine's body language is just pure exhaustion and fear.
Like,
we will
I'm
never be
so
able to
done.
leave this. We'll never be able to leave this. Now alone, Ed is on board, saying the fam needs our help. Lorraine, again exhausted, tells the tale of the Amityville dream she had. She's been holding this back. She says, "It's the same one I had 7 years ago. I had a premonition of your death." And you see the exorcism of Maurice. And then the 45-degree ice spike through Ed's chest. Ed says, "Wait, that's why you locked yourself away for 8 days? You saw my death."
Yeah. That, and I mean, after hearing that and realizing that's what she saw and how connected they are as a couple already, it's kind of understandable that she would break down in such a way.
It's nearing, you know, it's...
Yeah.
And through the exhaustion and through the question of let's just write the book, let's just do seminars, let's just do the school tours.
Yeah.
Lorraine says you've seen it too. The demon in your painting is real. This is a warning. You're going to die. And Valak.
Yep.
Ed says your vision is a gift from God. Maybe he's showing you so you can prevent it. Come on, we don't run from fights. If it gets crazy, we leave. Promise me, Lorraine says. And Ed says, promise. The first Noel.
Yay, more church hymns.
More church hymns. All through it.
They really went hard on church hymns in this movie.
They did. Yeah, they did. It was like every big, huge frame cut that it goes to like the next.
Yeah, and I was
scenario.
like, oh, I remember singing this in church.
Yep, and every time I
remember
hear
Christmas Mass.
Well, I love the way this podcast is going to end because I have a surprise for you. So we're now in North London. We hear my favorite, Maurice Grouse, Mr. Grouse, Mr. and Mrs. Warren. I'm Maurice Grouse. I believe you're staying at the Hodgson's house. Ed's like, always better to be in the mix. And I feel a hoax is among us. This is the way I feel. So then, still, they're in London. They're basically going with the shield, saying this is not going to be a waste of time because we get to spend 3 days on the church in London. Mm-hmm. As Gross's car approaches the house, we're with the Warrens, and as Lorraine steps out, she immediately is drawn to this spooky, spooky house.
Yeah.
Huge sigh. Like her body language throughout is just it's almost as if she's acting, you know, like really just trying to like, all right, yeah, we're gonna do this. I'm not gonna get the feels like I did because she's like, you know, it was the reverse. The first time she's like, we need to help this lady, you know, when she approaches outside of the college.
Yeah.
After a light introduction, Peggy lets the lot in and says, "It's just me and Janet." They all enter. We are now in view of Peggy unlocking chains to the girl's bedroom, explaining no one is allowed in here. Gross says, most of the activity is centered in this room. We are afraid someone would get hurt. Ed says, I understand Janet was levitating. Did that happen in here as well? Peggy says, yes. Gross says, more than once. Ed says, I'd like to hear Mrs. Hodgson's story from her if you don't mind.
Basically telling this guy, shut up.
Yeah,
I'm trying to hear it
he's
from the
cutting eyes.
source.
Yeah, he's cutting eyes. I'm trying to hear from the source. I'd like to hear Mrs. Hodgson's story. How do you say that? Hodgson?
Hodgson.
Hodgson?
Hodgson.
Hodgson. Hodgson. I'd like to hear Mrs. Hodgson. Fuck it.
You know what we're trying to say.
I have an argument with myself. As the frame pans inside the room, we see a trashed bedroom with 45 plus crosses strung up on the wall like an art installation. Super cool shot because
Oh, yeah.
I want to call him Cowboy Curtis. Ed walks in just like, burp, 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 and then when he realizes, he's like shook.
Yeah, he's like, oh,
Whoa, what is this? This is very creepy. This is probably the creepiest room I've ever been in. And as the door opens, again, Ed walks in. He is shook by the scene. He believes. I think at that moment,
that's when he's like, okay, this is real.
this is real. This is real.
There's some realness in here.
Peggy is in kind of an embarrassing, I've got to explain myself situation. Like you get caught red-handed. Oh, no, let me explain. She says with like a light kind of stutter, the neighbors donated them. I hung them up hoping they'd keep things from moving around. I think that was kind of silly when she said that. Keep the furniture from sitting still. Ed's disturbed.
Yeah.
And Ed says, has it worked? And Peg says, no, we can hear it at night. We can hear it all at night. So shit's still fucking moving in there. The bed's like exploded. The bed is in like
Shambles.
just shit. Like it looks like everything's just trashed. The only thing that's fit is the crosses on the wall. And not a cross is alike. I counted 45 plus. I lost count, but I know there's like 11 or 12 per wall. So when it gets to where the door is, there's light. So I'm thinking 45, but 45 plus. So if a neighbor donated, they probably have 2 or 3 in their house. They're not going to take all of them down. Because again, everyone's
this whole
fearful.
neighborhood brought their crosses over.
40 plus houses brought 40 plus neighbors.
They're probably getting crosses in the mail.
They're probably getting crosses in hell.
Nope. well, maybe
We're
not
getting
there.
books. We're getting the Exorcist books. They're getting crosses. As Mom quickly locks the door and chain, we are now outside with Lorraine. The shots from the kitchen where Billy was washing his hands when he first saw the swing set. So Janet on the swing set swinging. It's cute. She's got a little football in between her legs, so she's just kind of in her own space.
Yeah.
The shot's beautiful. We're viewing an open window shot of Lorraine and Janet. Lorraine says, hi there, I'm Lorraine. Lorraine says, mind if I have a seat? Now seated beside Janet on the swing set, Lorraine asks, you know why I'm here? Well, your mom has told me that there's something going on here and we're here to help. Ironically, Janet is just still in her own world. Nothing exists but her and her swing set, swinging, and her football. Lorraine is...
And Bill Wilkins.
Yeah, and it's funny. Yeah, so you said that. Janet, I wrote this. Janet is dribbling the football. Lorraine is wearing Queen Elizabeth's dress. And Bill Wilkins. Lorraine asks, would you like to talk about it? And Janet's completely shut off. So Lorraine says, when I was your age, I was visiting my mom in the hospital, and I saw an angel. Now Janet's like, okay, huh? What? Oh, when did you get here? When did you get here? Janet looks up from her slumber, aware now that Lorraine is sitting beside her. Lorraine says, yeah, it was standing next to a little boy's bed. And she gently touched his cheek, and then it stopped, and it looked right at me. That's creepy. That's scary. I mean, when she was little.
Yeah.
When she was little.
That's not normal.
So now Janet's in tunnel vision. She's just staring at Lorraine, like very interested in what she has to say. And Lorraine says, of course, my mom and the nurses didn't believe me, but I know it was real. Lorraine tells Janet, I know what it is like to lose friends because we're different. Janet's clenching her jaw and grinding her teeth. Lorraine says, but I also know one person can change everything. Just like the guy who ate the bat.
Oh. It started COVID?
Started COVID. Started COVID. The guy ate the Tide Pod after he ate the bat because he was feeling a little squishy.
Oh my God.
Spoonful of Tide Pod helps the vampire bat go down. The vampire bat go down.
Oh my
Dobby.
God. No.
We didn't talk about him last episode.
We didn't.
Yeah. I got an email. They're like, you didn't fucking talk about Dobby. Stop. I'm not listening anymore. I'm like, Mom, don't. Grandma, don't. Janet pleads for answers to open up to Lorraine. Janet says, how did you know you could trust the people you opened up to? Lorraine says, I didn't. I got hurt. It took a long time. I finally found someone to believe in me. Do you know who that was?
Ed.
Eddie, Edward, Ed, just like Dad
Aw.
used to call him. She said, I married him.
No.
And the best smuggy, what was it? Soddy
House.
The smug look they both give each other, especially Lorraine. She's like, I was like, I never noticed that before. She's got a soddy look. Janet's, I'm just so tired. I can't sleep here. I used to go to the medical room at school to sleep because I was so worn out, but now I can't even do that. Everyone's afraid of me. I'm going to get that tattooed on my face.
Everyone's afraid of me?
No, the whole thing. I'm just tired. I can't sleep here. I used to go to the medical room. The medical room. The medical room. Janet turns and these crystal football tears fall from her eyes, and I'm so in. I'm so invested. I so have the feels.
Yep.
It's so sad.
It really is.
It's so sad.
Because literally she can't go anywhere now
No.
because of how much media exposure she's
There-
had. She's only going to be known for this.
Yep.
Her whole life is completely changed.
Completely. Forever.
Forever.
I mean, 99% of the people that she knows still question it. Even
Yeah.
the paranormal duo question it. They
Yep.
question it. It's so sad.
It is.
I got no friends, no place I can go to. It makes me feel like I'm not normal. Whatever is doing this to you wants you to feel this way. But why? Because that's what makes it stronger. Interior, we are now staring at the old man's chair. Gross says, this is the spot that Janet said Bill Wilkins died, right here. Where'd you get it from? Creepy Coney's house.
I want that chair.
Yes.
I need it.
Mom, Peg, my ex-husband bought all the furniture with the house when we moved in. Edward, if you don't mind me asking, is the ex still in the picture? She's like, nope. Instantly.
Hell no.
Nope. Ed asks, any chance of reconciliation? Peg, he had twins with a neighbor across the corner.
So hell
no.
no.
Ed says, I take that as a no. Now, he's snarky. He's the one that, convinced Lorraine to be here, but everything is just his eyes. Lorraine's Lorraine will definitely get to, but Ed's just, kind of on edge. He's kind of on edge. He's kind of on edge.
And I wonder if it's the fact that he now knows that his wife has seen his death.
Oh, that's it. I didn't think of that.
Maybe he's, kind of thinking about that, and maybe he's getting some weird stuff from Valak.
Yeah, true. That he's not sharing.
But he does seem very questioning when he was the one who was like, no, we should go. We should
go. We have to do this.
Yeah.
And that, again, I put comic relief because it's he's snarky. He's like, oh, your husband had kids with another lady down the block? Huh, well, I can take that as a no.
Yeah.
Or he's like, well, take that as a yes. My wife's outside. If Maurice Gross can take his mustache and his eyebrows to the back corner, maybe we can listen to some future music from 2000. It's called Jodeci.
It's called If they just started playing Jodeci in Conjuring 2.
And the credits roll, and it's like, a few moments later. Peg says he took all the music when he left. It's that had to be hard. He didn't just have, bouncy with the neighborhood freak and had two kids with her. He took the music box.
Yeah. Took all the fun stuff.
And Peg's like, no, I mean literally, he took the records.
That is crazy.
He took all the music when he left. Basically, that's kind of a play on words, he just drowned the, sorrows outside of my whatever. What is a good,
I don't know.
I don't know, man. You can punch me in the face. You can put your fingers in my mouth.
No.
Just get on with it, damn it. But he took all the music when he left. It's like, oh gosh, I'm so sorry. He's like, no, literally, he took the records. It's funny.
That is funny. Imagine you're in a divorce and you're just like, no, just the music.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I've always said,
Yeah.
you break my heart. Off record. You can cut this out later. You break my heart. You leave. See you later.
Yep.
See you later.
Yeah. That's it.
You take my music. I will fucking
I will kill you.
You will be on a little back page of the newspaper. There'll be a little photo of you, and it'll have all the things you've done and all the things you wanted to do, with lists of people who were there for you and where you can finally see your resting place at some church or some backyard barbecue. And I'll be on the front page grinning a tight grin. She took the records. No, literally, she took the music out of the room. We're back at the swing set. Lorraine asks, do you know when the voice wants to speak? Janet says, sometimes.
Sometimes.
Does the voice feel like it's coming from within you? Janet says, no, behind me. It seems it's coming from behind me, like I'm being used. Does it say things to you that only you can hear? And Janet starts to pant heavy with breathing. She nods her head yes. What does it say? It says it wants to hurt you. When did it say that? Janet turns towards Lorraine. Right now. And then thunder rumbles. Janet is now in a chair. It's crazy, right? So creepy. You know, they just had a heart-to-heart. They just had a 4-minute conversation where 3 of it, Janet's like, not
crying.
even on here, not even on Earth.
Yeah.
And then that 1 minute, it was just a really beautiful moment. And then now it's like, yeah, it talks to me always and it wants to hurt you.
Yep.
Janet is now in the chair about to hold water in her mouth to prove it's not ventriloquism.
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 Yes.
Ventriloquism. How did you know? Because you're smart? Because you're in college?
Because I'm so
Because
smart.
you're a senior?
Because
you're
smart.
a senior?
I'm
Because
a
you're a
college
junior?
student.
You're
I'm
a
so
senior?
smart.
Because you're a senior?
Because I'm a senior in college.
Because you're a junior, senior? Have you ever heard of the band Dale Earnhardt Jr.?
No.
So good.
Junior. That's crazy.
Just because you're a senior doesn't mean I'm your junior.
Well, yeah.
And I just wrote, what the fuck? Because I know I was going to say something stupid.
Straight up
Ventriloquism.
WTF.
Ventriloquism. 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 It's the art state of being ventriloquist. Ventriloquist. Episode 6, ventriloquist. Taking a big old ventriloquist. Pardon me while I go ventriloquist the toilet. You have COVID. You have COVID. Did I spit in your eye? Damn it. I'm so sorry. Let me get that
You did not.
That's a hot 2 on that thing.
I missed it. I dodged. Gotta be careful recording with Jeremy. He gonna spit.
He's going to spit.
He gonna spit everywhere.
Again, I see the angst of the host. Surprisingly, I was fooled not to see this. This is one of my top 10.
Yeah.
And my favorite of The Conjuring. And I never viewed it like that. Maybe it was because I wasn't drinking whiskey.
Maybe.
Yeah, I was spitting whiskey. It pains me to see her in this chair, Peggy says. It'll be easier for Ed to contact if she's sitting there, says Lorraine. I was wondering if I had it on extended footage. Now, you saw the when she's sitting in the chair, she gargles the water.
Yeah.
Or she puts the water in her mouth. Okay. Yeah, it was weird. I just wrote that. It was really, it's like, is this a brand new movie to me? So Ed's about to start recording as Janet's in the chair. Ed says, you ready for this? Janet says, I guess so. He hits the record button. Janet takes a huge sip of water and holds it in her mouth. If you want to communicate, let's go. Let's hear it. What do you want with this girl and her family? Says Ed. It's quiet. Everyone's staring at Janet. Janet spits the water out and says, it said it won't talk if you're staring at me like this. Of course, gross. Just speaking through his walrus mustache. Strange it hasn't been shy talking about it until now. Ed says, let's turn our backs. They turn around.
It's definitely because of the Warrens.
Definitely. Janet sips. Ed turns, and the camera is on him. As the camera goes out of focus on Janet, in the background, you're focused on those crystal blue eyes of Ed Warren.
Yup.
You see her maneuvering in her chair, trying to get comfortable. Ed says, what do you think, Bill? We've given you privacy. Talk to us. Then you hear boom, 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 boom.
Yup.
Heavy breathing. Lights go out.
Starting.
You hear boom, 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 bumps in the wall. As Janet sits like Abe Lincoln out of focus in the background, boom, boom, boom,
Literally.
growl. Like it's cool. It's cool. Janet in Bill's voice. Here I come. Here I come. Ed says, am I talking to the spirit that's oppressing this family? Oh, is that what I am? Is this what I'm doing? Yes. I've come to put a stop to it. Do you know who I am? Eddie. Edward.
So creepy.
Ed is fine. Your father called you Edward. Not true. It's a crazy cat. It's a crazy cat.
Yeah, it really is. It's like coughing.
Like a reverse. Boom, the house is definitely talking as the lights go out. It's haunting. You can see her face changing in the background.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild. I'm not a psychiatrist. Let's get down to business. Leave these people alone. Because this is my house. Ed shakes his head. This is not your house. Yes, it is. I come here to see my family. But they're not here now. Because you're dead. They're all long gone. Bill starts grunting. Now, out of focus, Bill is in the chair. It's not Janet anymore, and it's so freaky.
Oh, yeah.
It's
like a
freaky.
very gradual transition.
Very gradual.
In that back.
Oh, my God, it's so freaky. So freaky.
So good.
Where are they? I don't know. If I did, I could help you. I don't need your help. Then just move on. I don't believe in that. Why not? What's wrong with heaven, Bill? It's a long pause. I'm not a heaven man. Crazy. And you see it. You see there's like a little, like when the lights go out, it's perfect.
Yeah.
And then when Bill is there, you can just see, he's not really moving, but you can see his face is like kind of coming in and out. It's all focused, but you can kind of see there's like a blue light on his mouth. So you can see that Janet is now Bill talking.
Yes.
I'm not a heaven man. I got news for you, Bill. I don't care what you believe in. As Bill jangles something in his pockets, he pulls out a crucifix and points it at Bill. Still not looking at him. He just reaches behind him and he points it. And now you get, I put whine, moan, shriek. The noises that come out of this beast. Help it, let go. Help it, let go. Backwards, that's go, let it help. Actually, it's help.
Wow.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. And
was so informative.
And that is the world of horror.
Goodbye.
It's the Beatles album, actually. Then you get more booms, more rumbles, more creaks. Bill moans a moan that you'll never forget.
Sounds like he's been drinking too much.
Mm-hmm. Not me. Bill. Because he's got water in his mouth.
What?
Now it's Janet. So the crucifix helped.
Yeah.
Crucifix helped. So watching that scene, I'm like, they're trying to get the audience to not believe, but I was so wrapped up in all the horror that I didn't psychologically look at it. Like, they still don't believe. They're still wanting to believe. How about that? They're still wanting to believe. So now Janet's in the chair. When it focuses on her, she's got the Satchmo cheeks.
Yep, she's got a mouthful of water.
Mouthful of water.
Dribbles that shit back out.
She does. She dribbles it out, and everyone is freaked the fuck out.
Everyone was like, everyone's jaws probably drop to the floor when they see this water come out of her mouth. They're like, there's no freaking way. She had to have like snuck it back in there somehow. Nope.
Nope. We saw the blurb.
We saw it.
We saw Bill Wilkins. We saw William Wilkins.
Good old Billy.
Good old Bill. Ed asks Lorraine if she feels a presence. Lorraine says, no, I don't sense anything.
Weird.
Ed states, hysterical neurosis, as they're back in their kind of pseudo bedroom where they're going to be sleeping for the night. Lorraine says, I want to believe them. All I can sense is their own fear. Lights out.
Which makes it even creepier, because you know that Lorraine has a true skill, gift for sensing these things. And we're watching Janet go through all of this, and you're like, no, like, help her. Like, it's real. It's real. And the fact that Lorraine can't sense anything just makes it even creepier to me.
Yep. It's wild. It's wild. And that could be the genius of the entity saying, you know, I don't want these people here. All we have to do is just be quiet for 3 days and they're gone. And then, you know, here we are.
That really shows the entity's intelligence.
Yep.
Again.
It's big old
even
Mary. Even scarier. Lorraine says, I want to believe them. All I can sense is their own fear. And the light's out. Now Janet is tying herself to the bed again.
Yep.
And Mom's like, oh, love, I wish you wouldn't do that. Janet says, it helps me sleep. At least I know I'm not going anywhere. Mom lies next to Janet and kiss. Janet looks up with those perfect eyes and says, I didn't smoke, Mom. What? I was only holding the cigarette, but it wasn't going to smoke it, I swear. I just wanted to look cool in front of her. It was stupid. Oh, love, I'm sorry I didn't believe you. The camera pan now from the ground up, with the leaves rustling in the swing set, swinging due to the wind, is chilling because it then pans to the house and a window, and you hear Janet moaning in the bed beside Mom. The whistling abruptly stops. The coolest camera angle. Janet, horizontal. Her face is horizontal, and it's on the complete movie screen. Remember that big-ass TV?
Yes.
Her eyes open right as the whistling stops. The camera rotates. Clockwise, pan out, back, and you see Janet is on the ceiling.
Yes.
Lying.
Like.
Her back.
Literally on her back on the ceiling.
On the ceiling. What?
Ow. What's she doing down there? What's she doing up there?
Fart machine. It's haunting. It's chilling. She's lying on the ceiling. Help! Help! And the old man is rocking in the rocking chair.
Yeah, and doesn't she have the rope still around her wrist?
Yeah,
and so her like wrist is still like up there.
She's like crucified almost.
Literally in a crucified type of position.
And she can't move.
That's as far as she can go.
That's it. It's wild. So lying on her back on the ceiling, that was the first time I had seen anything like that.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah.
I've seen walls, I've seen beds, but not ceilings. And I think after that, almost every year leading up to last year, there's a grandma walking on the ceiling butt naked.
Yeah, there's always
or
like some
the
creepy...
old Hereditary in the corner. Mom, mommy. Oh. She's right there like a spider up there in the corner. Go get your ass.
I can't wait till we do Hereditary.
Awesome. Now, my tattoo guy who I know sent that book. It's got to be him.
Yeah.
Because he said, what's up, mate? I'm like, what? He's like, where you at? I was like, I'm right here. And he didn't say anything else. And it was not he got a new number. So I was like, hello? Who dis? And he's like, where's the episode? Because he listens every Friday. Oh. And I was like, oh, sorry, I'm
running late.
Yeah, I'm late, but it's not my period. I'm late, but I'm not pregnant. Jesus God. You got to tie my hands or my neck. So like whenever I'm doing that.
Like, shut
Did you know that when you say, okay, long story short, it makes the fucking story longer? Did you know that?
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Yes.
Look, long story short, and just
you're just like
I edited an hour and 40 fucking minutes last week's episode. It was just me going, but I wasn't spitting in your mouth. So now, Bill is in his chair. Janet's on the ceiling.
Yeah.
Bill's rocking in his chair, grumbling. Stops rocking. Janet gasps. The old man gets up out of the chair, thinking he's going to walk towards her and just say something crude, like, "Get off the ceiling, you cow!"
Yeah.
He gets up out of his chair and walks out of the room.
Casually. Do, 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 do.
I called it Knick Knack Paddywhack, but the song's called This Old Man.
Oh, interesting.
Did you know that?
I was thinking Knick Knack Paddywhack,
But
too.
Knick Knack Paddywhack, give a dog a bone.
Yeah. Knick Knack Paddywhack,
Well, I give a dog a boner.
Oh. No.
I didn't take my medicine. Now Bill is walking up the stairs. Loud footsteps are heard above Janet. As she pulls her arms out at a 45-degree angle, that's where you see the rope.
Yeah.
And at first I was like, is that her veins? But is this a Freddy Krueger movie?
Oh.
Cougar. Freddy Krueger.
Freddy Cougar.
I got Freddy Krueger on my computer. The horrifying roar. She's pulled through the ceiling, into the room, through the bed, facing downward. So cool.
Literally.
So cool. Now she's in the locked bedroom with the 45 crucifixes, the rattling, the shaking, and there's a cross turning itself upside down.
Yep. And isn't that one of their like promo pictures?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I think that is the thumbnail.
That is like the
That is the
Conjuring 2 promo pic.
that is the
It's just her like
it's just
and then there's
horrifying.
Oh my god. Yeah.
With a tear in her eye, they all start to turn, and it pans 360 degrees of full view of the whole room. The 45 plus crucifixes turn upside down. Bill appears out of the corner. Janet! Oh! Janet screams. Mom awakes, runs to the room, pulls on the chains, pulls on the heater thing, and she can't get the room door open. Janet is within the doors opening about 3 inches as she peers out. Someone is in here! Help! Janet, help me, please! Janet is pulled away from the door abruptly. You see nothing but darkness. Then Mom sees something or someone. It's Bill. It's Bill's face. As he goes back into the darkness, Mom says, Janet! Now the Warrens come out of the room abruptly and run to Peggy as they are pressing on the door, struggling to get to Janet. Ed says, get the key now. Lorraine says, hold on, Janet! You see Janet in the drapes being strangled.
Yep.
I'm looking at the lines and it's just like a heartbeat and yours is like, It's like, now it's your turn to talk. What are we going to talk about today? Buried treasure.
Buried treasure.
Mom arrives with the key, struggling like they do with the car keys in the ignition when the murder man's coming to get you, fumbling, saying bad words, saying naughty words, sweaty palms, sweaty digits. Struggling with the key, we finally get it unlocked, and Ed rescues Janet from the drapes. All the crosses are back there somehow. There was someone in here that did this to my little girl. Little girl! There's someone in here. There's someone in here that did this to my little girl. The Lorraine sees the last cross shaking back and forth as if it was upside down. And now she kind of gives this feel where
she's like, ooh.
Oh yeah, there's something. There's something.
That's
there's something.
not normal.
She was watching her being strangled and now this cross is moving. Now it's Christmas time. We're in a pub and Mr. Gross is explaining the old homeowner's dad. He died of a hemorrhage and he died in that chair. A picture's floating around the table of the bite marks and it's missing 2 front teeth. All of the girls and all the kids and everyone in that house, even the neighbors, have their front teeth. Mm-hmm. Mr. Gross says, everything she says is true. Nymphadora tonks. All public info could have been heard through a neighbor. Lorraine says, Janet teleporting? Explain that. And Nymphadora tonks says, it's valid as the levitating over the bed, I guess. The picture man shows a picture of Janet levitating. And Ed says, the way her knees are bent, looks like she's jumping. Oh. Gross says, you saw last night with your own eyes. Ed says, Peggy saw someone attacking Janet. I didn't. Gross says, she teleported into another room. Tonks explains to the table a Welsh hoax that she was a part of, and she still doesn't believe. She says, I don't know what's worse, the demons or the people who prey on the people in need of our help. And Lorraine cuts eyes like, I will pull your trachea through your esophagus now. Through your butthole. I'll do it.
Like, I will
I will fucking kill you. I will fucking kill you. Back home, all the family together, and the Warrens have purchased an Elvis album for the fam.
Yup.
As the kids hug Janet, welcome back, I've missed you, but missed you. Lorraine asks the kids, have any of you kids been bullied or bothered by a bully? Janet says, Pete at school. Lorraine says, what do you do when that happens? Billy says, they stick up for me. Ed says, good, because the spirit in this house is a lot like that bully, and he has got it in for Janet. So stick up for Janet. Realizing the record player is broken, Ed sees a guitar, and he starts playing. And this is your gift. Wise men say only fools rush in, or I can't help falling in love with you. With you, little Mr. Crooked Matt. Mr. Crooked Matt. I like how his hand's just like that. He sings Elvis, I Can't Help Falling in Love, and he kills it.
He does.
Here comes the camera crew as the song keeps on. The camera crew's getting all the ghost equipment out, which is really cool. And then Lorraine sees Mom tearing up as they all start singing together. Wise men say only fools rush in, for I can't help smelling shit.
So I will spare y'all.
No, everybody's got pipes. She's got to find them. I can't find mine.
I'm a little congested.
Just
It
a little
probably
congested.
wouldn't sound too good.
It's probably all the congestion from all the the sludge fairy brought you congestion.
My cheese fairy.
The cheese fairy. And if you haven't listened until this episode,
You need to hear about the cheese fairy.
they all start singing together. And now Lorraine has the feels. She's got the feels. She gets
She's
the
like-
shiver. She gets the shookness.
Yeah,
She
Lorraine's
gets
like,
woke.
oh.
Yep. She's like, family.
I feel
Boom.
it. I feel it.
I feel it. And now I do believe it is time for Creepy Corny's Corner. It's Creepy Corny Corner. Creepy Corny Corner. Yes, I have a wild ghost haunt story. It happened around this time last year.
Ooh, okay.
Lotus and I do believe it was like right when school started, so there were parties for that weekend, just getting back to school.
Yeah.
And there were a ton. It was Labor Day weekend, so yeah, we're Labor Day weekend. So there was a ton of people partying, and then right when it got dark out, around 8:39. That night before that Monday, all the kids are out. There's kids playing like a weird they were playing football with a frisbee. It was pretty cool, but they were doing that, so they were loud. People were shooting fireworks, which was weird because they just shot fireworks randomly in this neighborhood, and then just randomly, and then there was just a lot going on. So where we wanted to haunt, Lotus was like, we have to go to this area. I know you haven't been here, but it's really creepy. So we walk up this hill that's almost beyond a 45. So what would that be, like a 60-degree
Y'all
angle?
are climbing up this
hill. Yeah. And this is the hill that everyone rode down when it snowed once or twice. So this is the hill. It barely ends into like a concrete pavement, so it's dangerous, but you can't snowboard, but you can sit on like a little tube. So these kids are playing over here. They're shooting fireworks over here. So there's a lot of distraction. And I'm easily distracted.
Yes.
So the sun set. We walk up this hill, and there's this clearing, really cool clearing. And there's a huge tree trunk that's probably the size of, let's just say, just like a school bus. It's huge, and it's on its side. So the grass is kind of tall, so I'm kind of freaked out by snakes or whatnot.
Yeah.
So I pull out the S-Box. Lotus has the Rook, and it's reading a little bit of energy. And I say, the ever so lovely, are there any spirits here that would like to communicate with us? Hello, I said, are there any spirits here? Yes. Yes. Immediately. The second time I asked.
Wow.
I said, the equipment that we're using, does it bother you? Is it distracting? Does it bother you? The equipment that we're using, nothing. The equipment that, it's okay.
Okay.
Like just a random, it's okay.
Okay.
So Lotus is looking at me. And I was like, Lotus, do you feel weird? And she's like, yeah, I feel weird. I'm like, is it because of the high grass? Are you afraid of like nature? She's like, no, we come up here all the time and just like, listen to music and be silly.
Be kids.
Yeah. And I'm like, I feel weird. I feel weird.
Yeah, like something is off. The energy is off.
The
in room.
energy is like, it's heavy. It's like weighting.
Ooh.
And this is for a fourth or fifth haunt. That the first one I shared on episode 1, and that was the craziest. This one, I just felt something. I felt something. And maybe it's the distraction. I just, what we weren't holding in. And I said, the equipment that we're using, does it bother you? It's okay. Should we be here? No. Immediately. Immediately.
Ooh.
So I'm like, Lotus, I think it's time. She's like, should we go deeper? And I'm like, no, absolutely not.
Lotus here's no, don't be here. Let's stay. Go further.
God. Yeah, let's go deeper. And once we got home, she said that there were 2 moments where she felt someone was watching us.
Yeah.
Someone was in the woods watching us. She felt that way, and I felt that way. I felt like this is a moment.
That's the worst feeling.
The distraction was huge, but I just, I was really kind of that was okay. I was really thinking that something is not right here. Something bad happened here, or something bad is about to happen. That's how I felt, and it's a rarity.
Is going to.
And I was wondering, because I asked last week, if you can do the Ouija board by yourself. I worded it differently, but I was wondering that if I was by myself, if I would have gotten that same feeling, because it could have been, the high grass, a snake, a possum jump out, a skinless human being,
the skinless, hairless cat, Dobby.
Doobie
comes hopping out.
I'm smoking a doobie, right? And then all of a sudden, a naked man comes out. But yeah, when we got home, she said, I felt like a presence. She's like, I've never felt anything like that before. That's why I wanted to go deeper into the woods to kind of shake the feeling. And I was like, God, I love you so much. You're just like me. So yes. And then I went back to that specific spot by myself later, and I didn't feel anything. I didn't get any reading because I was like, I'm going back. And I tried to get a neighbor to go. They were freaked out about it. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, I'm just going to go back. So that we walked that time. We walked through the trail. And when I went back, I drove, and I didn't have the same feeling. I didn't get the same situation. There was no one out, and it was like after midnight. So that was pretty wild. So yeah, I wanted to share that with you because it was pretty crazy.
That's a great
and
story.
I can't wait till we haunt. That's going to be so cool.
We really need to ghost hunt together.
Have to. We definitely have to.
Hey guys, welcome back to Creepy Connie's Corner. And today I am going to be reading a creepypasta because I enjoy them a lot, and I'm sure that you guys will too, or already do, because if you haven't heard of creepypasta, are you even a wacko? Anyways, today I'm going to be talking about Abell the Spirit. And Abell is a little male spirit who was killed by his father. So, his origin is Abell Collins was born in England the year 1860. He was almost the perfect child, but had 2 defects. He was born with blind eyes and snow-white skin like a spirit. Mr. Collins had 2 sons, Martin and Abell. Martin was the eldest and the perfect son that Mr. Collins wanted. Abell and Martin never had a mother because Miss Collins died 2 days after Abell's birth. Mr. Collins hated Abell for his looks and for his wife's death. After a long day at work, Mr. Collins came home from work with a big and scary smile on his face. During the entire dinner that Abell had with his father and brother, Martin never took his eyes off of the poor blind child. The The older brother seemed more concerned about his younger brother than usual. After a strangely peaceful dinner with what was left of his family, Martin walked over to his younger brother and whispered in his ear, "Hey, Abby, Father plans to kill you tonight. I'll help you escape if you want." At first, the poor child thought that his brother was joking. But when he heard his brother almost crying, he faced the cruel truth. He had to escape as soon as possible. Abell hid himself very well in the large garden that his house had. For a moment, he thought that everything was fine, until he heard extremely loud footsteps behind him. It was Mr. Collins, his father. The poor child was immediately struck in the leg with an axe, and when he tried to escape, even without having possession of his vision, he was struck again, but this time in the arm. Abell screamed and screamed. He was so desperate. The child's vision had begun to blur from blood that he was losing, but Mr. Collins wanted to make sure he didn't scream. He took the axe and drove it lightly into the 7-year-old's neck, just to cut his throat. But Abell's father was even more determined to make sure he was really dead, so he chopped off his leg and then his arm with the axe. Abell didn't let a word come out of his mouth. He was dead. Now, that is our story about Abell the Spirit. He is a bit of a poltergeist, and when Abell was alive, he always had the goal of making his brother as happy as possible, to make his dark days happier. When he died, everything changed, from his personality to his way of acting and his goals. After he died, his goal became to take as much revenge on his father as possible. But after managing to scare him to death, his current goal is to scare as much as possible and to torture anyone who gets in his way. And that is it for Creepy Connie's Corner. I hope y'all enjoyed. And yeah, that's it.
It's Creepy Connie Corner. Creepy Connie Corner.
Well, that's what we have for today. Follow us on all of the social platforms. We're going to pop off with the Patreon soon. We're definitely on True Fans. Creepy Connie's on only.
No.
I didn't say it. Creepy Connie is on Kiki. Did you say Kiki?
No.
Was that a ghost?
I think you're just hearing shit.
Maybe I'm just.
I think you're just
maybe
going
it's-
cray
maybe-
cray.
Yeah,
You're
maybe
going
it
cray
is.
cray.
That's what it is. Well, yes. Thank you guys for listening. We adore you, creepies.
Yes.
This is Creepy Connie.
And this is King Jeremy, the Wicked.
Oh yeah, we didn't do. This is Revival Horror Podcast. Oh yeah, by the way, we're Revival Horror Podcast. This is Creepy Connie.
And this is King Jeremy, the Wicked.
Goodbye. This is not your house. This is my house. You're trespassing. Ow, fuck. Something bit me. Fuck.
The soddy house.
This is on each second floor apartment. Both elevators are broken and everybody's gay.
What?
You've been listening to Revival, a horror podcast. Sorry. Jerry the Wicked and Creepy Connie. Goodbye.